And welcome, guys, to the BigCeaz Show. We have none other than Victoria, Kameron, and Shauna. How are you guys doing today?
Hello.
Doing great.
Hi.
Wow, it's been a crazy week. Taylor Swift being on her first ever podcast. How has it been for you guys being Swiftie fans?
It's been awesome.
It's
Great.
really truly unbelievable. I don't think we've ever seen Taylor in this more unfiltered view.
And she was really good. I thought she was really excellent, just handling being one of the hosts on the show. And she really took over the show, and she did a great job. You could see her media experience, right? And just very natural. And this is why she's one of the best performers in the world.
Yeah, her eye contact. I loved there was a tweet that was like, I just FaceTime Taylor Swift for the past 2 hours.
That's so crazy.
And it felt like it was super cool and authentic.
It was. It was. So let's kind of get people to know who you guys are. We have Victoria here. Victoria, tell us your origin, your Swiftie origin.
Sure. Well, I mean, it goes way back to the beginning. Hearing Teardrops on My Guitar on the radio, I think it was like 2006, 2007. And that was it. I think I had also heard like Tim McGraw on the radio, and I knew like I had found someone that I, was going to be a huge fan of. And everything after that is just kind of history.
So were you a country fan in general before when you first heard her?
That's a good question. Actually, I'm a horse girl, so the country radio was like always on at the barn.
So 99 Kiss Country was like your favorite go-to station?
Yes, it's exactly 99 Kiss Country.
So my dad used to always, when we used to go out to the store, we used to always go out to dinner or anything like that. My dad would always have that station on, so I became a country follower as well. So country is like, and I listen to every type of music, so I'm not just one genre, but country was the biggest thing in my household as well. Talk about when you first heard Taylor Swift, what kind of like led you to gravitate towards her being at that young age?
Yeah, I think it's the storytelling, and I think that was I'm going to age myself. That was middle school for me.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, so honestly, kind of, you know, the world of like, boys and like, relationships and all of that was like growing into that kind of phase of life. And she was basically talking about being invisible to a boy that she had a crush on. And I feel like that is like a very relatable kind of
I feel like
song.
we all had that kind of thing growing up, right?
Yeah.
Nice. And kind of going into here, Kameron, what was your first Swiftie origin story?
Well, so like Victoria, I also heard Teardrops on My Guitar on the radio. My mom was big into Kiss 99.9 also, like a lot of people in South Florida was at one point. But I personally did not like Teardrops on My Guitar when it first came out. I grew to become a fan of that album, obviously. But what really made me a fan was Love Story and You Belong With Me. But also, at that point, I was a guy in middle school. I had really long hair down to my shoulders. All I was listening to was classic rock and Fall Out Boy and Green Day. So like I was like, Teardrops on My Guitar is dumb. But then I saw the Love Story music video and the You Belong With Me music video, and I was like, this is amazing. She's so pretty. These songs are so good. Oh my God. And Shauna will get mad at this, or maybe not anymore, but I used to say that she was my future wife. So I like legitimately, you could ask some of my friends. I used to like throw out like, Taylor's just my future wife. That's my wife right there. So, and fun fact, there's at the AAA or Kaseya Center, whatever you want to call it now, there's actually a mural of like all of these artists that have performed at the arena over the past years. And every time I go, I make sure to find the Taylor Swift picture. And I take a picture of me like right next to it, either pointing at it or hugging it, because I was actually at the show that they had that picture of. So I like
that's so cool.
Yeah, so I like going up to that picture every time I'm at the arena.
Tell them what you had on your ceiling in high school.
I actually had her, on my ceiling in my bedroom. I had her Rolling Stone cover. I don't remember what year it was from, but like she had her like wood guitar that's really iconic for the Taylor Swift fans that know of it. But it was probably like 2010 or something like that was the year of that photo shoot, something like that. So yeah, I had that on my ceiling in my bedroom.
For how long?
Probably for like at least like 10 years or something like that.
Okay.
Close to it.
So you woke up in the morning staring at Taylor Swift?
Yep.
I feel like your song should be Superstar.
I was gonna say, seeing little stars in the sky. So you talked about not liking Taylor Swift to liking her. Like, that's a big jump. And now seeing her doing everything, could you imagine what she's been doing throughout these last couple of years? I mean, how do you see that?
She would hardly ever make like public appearances like this, in a sense. Like, like you'd hardly ever see her at like, and she even said it on the podcast. I think I'm kind of jumping ahead here, but she said it on the podcast. It's like, like I would go to sporting events to sing the national anthem. I wouldn't go to watch the sporting event. So even just her being involved in the world of sports is totally crazy. Even as a fan of sports and Taylor Swift separately, it's not something that I assumed that would ever, like, those. I did not assume that those worlds were ever going to cross at any point in time.
Right? It's crazy. Shauna, tell us your Swiftie origin story.
So I actually remember my cousin in middle school showed me Taylor Swift on her iPod. I think the song was Tim McGraw. And she's like, listen to this new artist. Like, she's up and coming. And it was so cool. And then after that, Teardrops My Guitar was everywhere. And I actually had a crush on a guy named Drew. So, of course, Teardrops on My Guitar, I'm like, the song is for me. Like, this is what I'm going through right now. And so I love that. And then, especially in high school, she blew up. There was also another guy I had a crush on in high school who loved Taylor Swift. So I actually posted on Instagram, like my sister like curled my hair with the wand. I grabbed my brother's guitar. I was like in my pajamas because it's like 2012 Instagram. So I can't try too hard, like trying to impress, like, do I look like Taylor Swift? And it was just one of those things where it was like cool because I actually liked her, but I knew he really liked her. So I was like, oh, this is a win-win. But it didn't work. It didn't work then. I don't know if you want to show the picture, Caesar.
The one with you and the guitar, right?
Yeah.
Here it is.
There it is. Very 2012.
Oh my gosh, look how young you look.
And look at the hair. And the funny part is after this too, I like decided it was a dumb idea to take my iPod, go on the trampoline, of course, listen to Taylor Swift, imagining that this guy is like falling in love with me and we're together. And then my hair completely uncurled after that. And then I had to go and post on Instagram that my hair like fell apart.
Question, where did you get the guitar? And do you know how to play the guitar?
So it's my brother's guitar, which is funny because he does not know how to play the guitar. My mom got it for him, and I do not know how to play the guitar. No one in my family, like my immediate family, knows how to play the guitar. But my mom had one. There was always one in the house, but we don't have any like musical skill in my like direct line of family. I think Sierra might have the most musical talent out of us, but not. We're not very talented, but I had it. It was a great prop.
I do know you definitely can't sing. No offense.
Or do rhythm. Even today, I was at church and they're like, clap. And I'm like, and I gave up. I was like, okay, I'm not going to clap my feet.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's crazy. And an iconic picture and just a crazy moment during that time. That's when she was just starting to get big in the industry, right? And one of my favorite iconic moments with you, Shauna, was, I believe, Game 4, right? At the Stanley Cup Final. That's when we met Paul Bissonnette. And not only was Paul there to meet us, but who else was there?
Taylor Swift is here, and I can see her. What reality am I right now? Oh my God!
And you missed the beginning of it. The Cats are up 3-0. Taylor Swift is here. What else do I say, Cameron?
Oh, that was it.
That was
You
it.
guys-
I was gonna say, Cameron knows like literally every line that you said. How many times have you watched that, Cam?
Probably just that night alone, at least like 15 to 20, because like she sent it in the group chat and posted it on Instagram, and I like screen recorded it and sent it to all of my other friends. I was like, you guys got to see this. This is so funny. I could recite it right now if you want me to.
Do it.
Whoa,
Do it.
whoa, you guys, Cats are up 3-0. Taylor Swift is here, and I can see her. What reality am I in right now? Oh my God.
I like how you're not like screaming.
Oh,
in my
I don't
ear.
want to trigger everybody's ears, you know. Hey, it was so funny. It was so funny.
You know
was
what I
like,
said
oh
better
my
than
God.
I know what I said. And Caesar, that game is like, Shauna, what's going on? You're not paying attention. It is.
I was
it's
so
only
pissed.
final.
I was so pissed because this is game 4 of the Stanley Cup final. We have a chance to go up big in this series.
Wait, was it
and-
game 3?
no, I think it was,
It was
game 4.
Game 4. It was
Okay.
game 4 because we ended up losing that game.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because
That was when you kicked Paul out of your section because they gave up 3 goals. Yeah.
Yeah.
we don't want to talk about that. But yeah, I mean, literally, Shauna through that first period. I don't think she remembers that first period.
I
honestly.
do. I was looking for Taylor Swift.
I meant in the
your
game.
phone, and I am going around. Yeah, I remember Kachuk scored in the first. Like, we got 3 goals. 2 were
Okay.
Kachuk. I can't remember the third, but I do remember the period because I'm like looking.
Okay.
My sister found her. I don't have super zoom on my phone, so I'm like using Caesars, and I'm like watching their body language. And then there was one couple I thought was them at first, and then I realized that wasn't them and it was someone else.
Question: do you remember meeting Chris and Dan during the intermission?
Yes, the empty netter guys.
Okay.
I remember, and I was telling them about Taylor Swift, and they were very worried because I was just so pumped, like pumped. I was just like, ah, and my sister was like, "You need to calm down." Like,
Also a Taylor Swift song.
yeah, a Taylor Swift song, but she was like, "Come on, like these guys don't care." I'm like, "I know, but I care. I'm excited. This is fun. This is
It's
the
crazy.
best hockey game I've ever been to. Even though we lost that game, it's still in my top hockey memories, like top 3 or top 5 game at least."
Right, and not only because like Taylor Swift was there, but everything that transpired. Even though we lost, just being able to meet Paul Bisnett like throughout the whole season of me and him going at it back and forth, and for him to come hang out with us during the whole second period, right? And he was just super nice to everybody, and we can't thank him enough how kind he was. And you know, it was such a fun game, even though we lost, because literally we tied it with seconds left in the game. And then, you know, just like so much emotions between, you know, being on top, being, oh my God, we're going to lose. Oh my God, we're going to win. Oh my God, we just lost. So it was just like a roller coaster of basically a roller coaster of playoffs and in general. So yeah, it was crazy. I think it was one of my top games. That one and the Toronto game when we met Canadian Oldie. That was also one of my favorite ones as well. Let's kind of talk about how football and post Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, Kim. Talk about how Taylor Swift had changed the game of football, and maybe football has changed the game with music.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, there's people who could have gave zero like about football for the rest of their lives until, to be honest with you, Taylor Swift started to show up to the games. And there's actually full-on Swiftie football leagues. Like no joke, that I see all over my TikTok, all over Twitter, of just all these girls going, oh, here's a Taylor Swift themed name if you want this. And also we have like all these 3 slots open in this fantasy league if you want to join. Or if you know anybody else who wants to join, here's the Facebook group where we have all these leagues that someone wants to join, blah, blah, blah. And even when you were here and Victoria was here one game, I think it was for Shauna's birthday, it just so happened that it was one of the Chiefs games was playing on Sunday night. And we turned on the TV and literally there was like 8 women standing in front of the TV, just like, where is she? Where is she? Oh my God. And they were watching, honestly, it's not like they were just sitting there and only just watching that. They sat there the whole game and actually watched the entire game. And they are learning. It's not like they're just there. To be honest with you, a lot of people are just thinking, oh, they're just watching it just to see Taylor. But yeah, that might have been the case at the beginning. But if you're sitting there for 3 hours watching the TV, you're not going to learn absolutely nothing. You're going to eventually pick up everything that's coming your way, which even Taylor spoke about. Like, you know, when you first start, of course, you're not going to know anything. But the more you're exposed to it, the more you see, the more you understand, and the more you ask questions, the more you're going to learn. So it's crazy because even with just Shauna, she learned a lot through me, but she's learned a lot more just because of just actually seeing Taylor on on the TV for some of the football games, honestly.
And I think one thing too to keep in mind is like football games are 3 hours, like just one game. Taylor Swift is on, I think they said it's an average of 47 seconds. So that is nothing compared to 3 hours of sports. So the fact that you have people watching for 3 hours is a huge commitment. Like I always say, because Kameron is a huge football fan way before Taylor. Like, so this for him is an ultimate crossover because like he knows both and like having them come together, especially for my 30th birthday party because it's in October. And so he's like, it's a Sunday. We're going to watch football. I'm like, no, it's my birthday. Like I want us to have fun and just not watch football. And then, of course, Taylor Swift was going to be there. So I was like, fine, you're lucky. It is now part of the canon for my Taylor Swift birthday party. So I made like the NFL Taylor's version. And, you know, when she was on screen, we're all like cheering and stuff too. So it is interesting to kind of see and understand. And football's not an easy sport.
No.
It's so confusing. It's so confusing.
It's way more confusing than hockey. So.
Yes, exactly.
Shauna, talk about how you think the football, what do you know about football before or now to post Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce?
So I always joke that I learned about football through osmosis because Kameron talks about every time football is on, even if it's, and we're Dolphins fans, even if it's not the Dolphins, it's on. So and he's talking about it all the time. So there's a lot of things that I just retain that I don't even realize I retain until I'm like having conversations with people and they bring up football and I'm like, oh, what about this player and that player? And they're like, how do you know this? And I'm like, I actually don't know how I know this. Like it's just coming through. And even like Travis Kelce, I knew of him before Taylor because of Kameron. Like the first time I Met Your Parents was actually the Super Bowl in February 2020, or was Kansas City
and the
versus 49ers. Yeah. And one of his friends, Alexa, was like, I love Travis Kelce. He's so hot. He's my husband. I'm like, oh, who is this guy? Like, there's a cute one. Who is it? And I remember one of the times I saw him on like an interview and he's like, yeah, jabroni. And he's like so hyped up. And I go to Kameron. I'm like, is this guy like taking shots?
And I was like, no, he's just a bro. That's like, just how he is.
Is he drunk? Like, why is he going off? Like, is he okay with what's going on with him?
That was, by the way, that was the speech after the AFC Championship game against the Bengals. One of the greatest things I've ever seen.
Do you want to do it?
Yes, that's one of the best.
Do you know the line for line?
Oh, I do. So there's two separate ones.
Do a sound before he goes into it. Sound warning.
Yeah, lower your headphones.
He's gonna scream like Travis Kelce.
So the first one is he walks up behind Patrick Mahomes as he's getting interviewed by Tracy Wolfson, and he goes, "Woo! Arrowhead, my ass! It's Mahomes' house, baby! Woo!" Then number 2, he's on the podium. Then he gets the trophy. Hey, how about this beautiful trophy? Huh? Hey, I got some wise words for that Cincinnati mayor. Know your role and shut your mouth. You jabroni. You gotta fight for your right to party.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, what's a jabroni?
Which, to be fair, I didn't know what it was either because I'm not big into WWE. But as soon as I looked it up, I was like, oh yeah, that totally.
Bro, WWE fans know what jabroni is.
Yeah.
And even back in WWF, that was like one of the biggest terms that was used, especially with the Dwayne Johnson. That's his famous go-to line.
And that shows you the type of guy that Travis Kelce really is. He's
I love it.
Like I said to Shauna when she was like, "What's wrong with him?" I'm like, "He's just a bro. That's just how he is." Like and like what Taylor said on the pod too. It's like he's just got to yell. That's it.
Yep.
Anytime there's a microphone, which is why, if you notice, she hasn't given him a microphone on the Eras tour. And I even said too, when the whole thing with the podcast and the bracelets went out, I go to Kameron, like, imagine if they actually get together and they date, and she writes jabroni in a song. Like, I don't know what you would rhyme it with besides like macaroni.
Dude, I'm sure if she writes that, oh my goodness, that would be epic. That would be epic. Victoria, tell us what you know about football pre and post Taylor Swift.
Not
If
much.
not with football, but maybe hockey, since you're more of a hockey fan.
Yeah, so I think it's really interesting, right? Because we just went through, like, my rookie year with hockey, we got the Stanley Cup, and my rookie year with Taylor and Travis, we got the Super Bowl. We won the Super Bowl. So really interesting stats there. I don't know what kind of luck I have, but I'm not complaining.
Okay. When you said we got a Super Bowl, does this mean you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan now?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I want to make sure.
We gotta get her the Go Taylor's Boyfriend T-shirt.
Yes, Karma's the guy on the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yes. Before Taylor, all I really understood about football was like literally like yards. That's maybe a vocabulary word that I know. Like, they wear cleats, they smash into each other. There's a touchdown. After kind of like there were rumblings and rumors that perhaps they had met, that Travis was trying to get in contact with her after that she had performed at the Arrowhead. That's when, like, I was at an agency. I'm in digital marketing. I was at an agency where basically, like, everyone was like, oh, we're doing a fantasy football league. Who wants to join? And literally there were so many people who wanted to join. And like my whole team, like so many girls wanted to join because of the possibility of the fact that if Taylor's enjoying football and she likes this football guy, then there's maybe something appealing about football here. But let's do it for the plot. Like, we all joined. And there were like 18 people in the league.
Crazy.
And I literally
wow. So you literally joined an 18 fantasy football league.
Yeah. And I don't know if you remember, Caesar, but like I don't know.
Oh, I remember us texting back and forth.
And on FaceTime for the draft.
Yes. So do I get some credit for that?
I don't know. Yes, of course.
Okay.
I think Shauna was reminding me earlier that I was like the first pick. So I got to go first out of 18 people to pick. And we picked Pat Mahomes, of course.
Which I told you not to, because Kameron told you to pick Cameron.
because I gotta poke in here because we are in fantasy draft season. But like, if there's 18 people in a draft, like
didn't I tell you to pick
a running back or a wide receiver?
Didn't I tell you to pick Jalen Hurts first?
I think you did. I think you did tell her to pick Jalen Hurts that year also.
Who had a better year?
That year? Who knows? It was 2 years ago at this point. It might have been Jalen Hurts, probably.
It was Jalen Hurts. I remember. I'll pull up those text messages.
Yeah, but for the Swiftie plot, Patrick Mahomes was a good pick.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah,
it was.
Honestly, yeah. I think I ended up third in that fantasy league, so that was really awesome.
Awesome.
And then
out of 18 players and their first time doing it, that's incredible.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it truly is. But it was really fun. I have maybe still no clue. Like, I was like, I don't know. Do you guys need to pair like a cocky tight end with like a humble quarterback? Like, do we need to make sure that their zodiac signs align? Like, what? Like, how do you decide who do you want on your team? Do you just pick based off of like, do you need to make sure their personalities mesh well, or is it just based on like stats?
Well, if we're talking fantasy football, it's only stats.
It's basically only stats. And you can literally have the greatest draft and end up being last. And we have one of our friends, Kyle, who had one heck of a draft. I think we all crowned him to be the champion before the season started.
Yeah, they said he was only going to lose one game.
The NFL.com app said what he would go like 14-1.
And wasn't he the last one in our league?
He only won one game. So like it was everything was reversed.
It was crazy. But that goes to show you that like it all depends on who you pick up during the waivers. You got to be on top of it. And I think to your credit there, Victoria, you kept texting Kameron and I every week, which player do I pick up? Which player do I pick up? This player's hurt. This player has a bye week. Who do I start?
Yeah.
So that's really important and to being a champion in the fantasy football league.
Yeah, I learned so much. I was like, what is a bye week? Like, go bye? Like, I don't know. I don't understand.
It's not like in sync. Bye.
And that was funny because I had everybody on a bye week once. And so my name was bye because everybody was out.
Yep.
But I just thought of a really cool idea for you and Kameron, Caesar, to do like a podcast on like teaching girls like how to do fantasy, like little tips and tricks. Or not even just girls, whoever doesn't know fantasy football.
Hey, my protege in your fantasy league, Caesar, came in second place. She should have won, but
decided to play to the last possible moment, which is not fair.
Whatever. It's fine, Caesar. You won your own league. It's fine. Nobody ever wants the commissioner to win their own league.
It's okay. Bring it on, jabronis.
Come here. Shut your mouth, you jabroni. No.
Yeah. No, but we had so much fun. And what Taylor Swift is bringing on to football is so amazing. There's so many new girls watching football and not trying to jump ahead on what Taylor talked in the podcast, but her explaining or Travis explaining, like being able to see dads go with their girls to a football game and girls actually sitting there enjoying the game, being there with Taylor Swift. That's everything. For a girl dad, that's everything you want, right? And, I can only imagine how that feels. And one of our best friends, Alan, who coaches flag football, he tells me all the time, being able to coach flag football and have my daughter play one of my favorite sports is incredible. I'll never trade anything in the world for that moment to spend that time with her. And being able to just spend that time and teach her different lessons throughout life is incredible. Talk about how you guys see that, what Taylor is bringing with football.
I think it's cool, and it's not even just to football that she's bringing. She is creating a platform for not even just girls, like for everybody to realize like you can do whatever you want. And even on the podcast where she's like, I'm not athletic. And Travis was like, no, you are. Like, those are certain things that are
but in her own way, right?
Right. Like, in order to be athletic, you have to throw a ball. But like,
she literally dances on stage for 3 straight hours
while singing.
That's athletic.
Right. So I think too, it's kind of cool how it's like breaking the mold of like you think of athleticism. And I even feel that way sometimes about myself of like, oh, I'm not athletic. But
we know, Shauna.
But I ran 5 half marathons and a full marathon. Like, that's still like athleticism. So I think it's cool to have that ability to be like, hey, you don't have to fit into this little box. Exactly. Like, there's so much depth into being human and to being athletic and to being into sports. Like, you don't have to be like, oh, you're a musician. Your whole life have to revolve around music. You could be like, Troy from High School Musical, and you can be into basketball and into musical, so I think it's cool to show that aspect to people of like, you don't have to just conform to whatever you think you belong in.
Yeah, you can be multifaceted. Just because you're into music doesn't mean, or maybe you're into, pop music doesn't mean that you're not going to enjoy other different kinds of sports or arts, or, maybe you really enjoy food or hiking. all of those things can exist at the same time.
Right? No, I totally agree.
And now even Travis is showing that he's multifaceted with his acting chops in Happy Gilmore too.
I still haven't seen Happy Gilmore 2 yet, but I will catch it this weekend. Victoria, talk about you and Shauna. Talk about this moment that you guys had together at a concert.
Oh yes, this was the Eras Tour, the Philadelphia stop.
May 13th.
Was this in Philadelphia?
Yes, in Taylor Swift's home state.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
She is from Philadelphia, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
That just goes to show you how much I know about Taylor.
And in order to get tickets, like everyone, like Shauna and I, and like we had like people ready. Like everyone is trying to get a ticket. Doesn't matter where. Like obviously we're working within a budget, but like just get a ticket. Just get this number of tickets. We want to go. And at the time, I was living in New Jersey, and Shauna and Cam were still here in South Florida. So we had decided previously, like, it doesn't matter if we can't see her here in Florida. We need to see her in any of these 3 cities that like we agreed upon. And Philadelphia just happened to be the one that we were able to get tickets for. So I think it adds even more to like the adventure, like the excitement, like, oh, it's not just like I'm going to go see her in Miami, like 40 minutes away from me. Like, no, like
right.
we're going to
You
travel.
guys literally went to a totally different state just to see Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a Philly cheesesteak at the same place 2 straight days because it was so good. The first day we got there, me and Shauna had the Philly cheesesteak, and then Victoria gets there, and we're like, "Wait, we have to take you to this place. We had the best cheesesteak yesterday." Oh my god!
Oh my gosh! So that's one thing I do want to experience about Philly, even though I hate the Eagles. But just want to. I love food, and I love trying different types of foods. But from what people have been always saying, and the hype is real, then I guess that Philadelphia
without
cheesesteaks are not Philly cheesesteaks unless you try it in Philly.
Yeah, I honestly, it took me like almost 2 years to eat another Philly cheesesteak outside of Philly.
No way.
It was
Good.
Seriously, I had one. I had one at work in like December that year, so that was like in May, and I had one. They ordered sandwiches, and I'm like, you know what? Let me have a Philly. I haven't had one in like literally 6 months, and I took 2 bites, and I remember even texting her. I'm like, not the same.
So, question: what is the closest good Philly cheesesteak here in Florida?
Nothing.
Not even Jersey Mike's?
No.
Do they have Philly cheesesteaks?
I will tell you, Caesar, I have not had a Philly cheesesteak that compares to what I had in Philadelphia.
Well, that's the only thing we could get down here, at least that I
you could go to Flanagan's, I guess, but it's no disrespect to Flanagan's. It's not a real Philly cheesesteak from Philadelphia.
Like, we love you, but it's hard to compare.
Yeah.
But even when we were eating the Philly cheesesteak, like all the Swifties were there.
Yeah.
And it was really cool for us to go from our hotel to the stadium because we didn't know where to go, but we're like, just follow the glitter. Like you could tell everybody was like dressed up and like getting there was super cool because public transit, which is like a foreign concept to South Floridians, was cool. And like the bonding of like, okay, this is where we go. We follow these people. Here's the glitter. Oh, you're this area. You're that area. Your outfit's so cute.
So, and even though I'm obviously a Swiftie and I have been like legitimately, like even before me and Shauna were together, I was legitimately a Taylor fan. But for me as a sports fan, that was the first time I had been in a stadium outside of Hard Rock Stadium. So that was just an amazing experience just in that sense, just to actually see Lincoln Financial Field in person and actually go in there. Like they were in line for the merch and I'm like, I'm just going to walk around. I just want to
You and I are the same way, right?
Yeah, I went into the Eagles Hall of Fame. I took pictures next to the Randall Cunningham bobblehead. I was like, this is insane. This is so cool. Look, they got the murals up here. I was even looking at all the retired numbers up in the rafters. I was like, I can't believe.
So I think if we all went in a group, Cam and I would be like literally just taking pictures of every little football. Every little football thing aspect of it.
Well, guess what Kameron wore? And mind you, this was before she dated Travis Kelce.
Yeah, months before.
I wore my number 13 Dan Marino jersey on May 13th. I was so all the guys that go to the Eras tour now just wear their football jerseys or their Travis Kelce jersey, and that's like a generic.
How cool is that
outfit now? But it was honestly the coolest part wasn't even that I did it before everybody. The coolest part to me was, and Shauna remembers too, there was these like 3 girls that came up to me. They were like, "Excuse me, can we take a picture with you? Our dad's actually a really big Dolphin fan and he loves Dan Marino."
Wow.
I was like, "Yeah, sure. No problem, of course."
And
Wow,
also,
that's so cool.
Yeah.
this outfit is super the life of a showgirl, color
That
coded.
glitter,
I was
right?
gonna ask you about that.
I've
That
been
kind of
talking,
looks like her one top or one piece that she wore at that tour, right?
Kind of like the lover outfit a little bit. The sequencing.
no, because that one's more orangey red. Honestly, the orange lover outfit, I always think it's red. But that's the new, like the lock thing, Caesar, that you see around. It's like the orange sparkles with the mint, which I've been telling Kameron, I'm like, this is good for you because you have a lot of dolphin stuff. So like even behind us, we have our little dolphin football. And I'm like, if we put little orange sparkles, it's a mix of Taylor.
Oh, I love it. I love it. That's so awesome. And talk about the concert itself. How was it?
I cried. And also for me too, I was super emotional. So Caesar, just to put it in perspective, so this was May 13th, 2023. So this was like not even 10 days after like you died and came back to life. So I was already in a super emotional stance. And then she like come on stage and like I was just crying. I was like happy. I was like enjoying life, but I was also thinking about how life is like so fragile. Like I was a wreck, but in like the best way possible because it was like living that moment.
And the day before that show too was when the Panthers beat Toronto in overtime in Game 5 to move on to the conference finals against Carolina too. So that was even put into perspective what she was saying about you and your situation. It made it even like just brought it all to fruition too, right there, you know, because again, we're seeing the Panthers go again to the conference finals and it's like, man, and without Caesar, it's totally different.
That's crazy. I had no idea that you guys went to the concert right after that happened.
We were watching it at our hotel bar. We were watching it at the hotel bar.
That's awesome. Did you guys wear your Panther gear there?
I did. I had my Vamos Gatos shirt on the next day while we were walking around Philadelphia.
I don't think I brought my Panther gear. I think I wanted to look cute.
Okay. Understandable. I kind of want to ask you, Shauna, this is one of my favorite pictures you took. Talk about this picture and what a perfect picture, kind of with the album that she had. Talk about how you took it. What transpired to take this picture?
So first, this flannel went viral because it was from Old Navy.
Yeah, I saw it on TikTok, and it was this girl who's like, "Hey, if you really like the Evermore album, Old Navy has a flannel that looks exactly like the jacket that Taylor Swift wears." So I went to Old Navy to find it for her, and I'm like, "Hey, I found it. What size do you want?" So
and then this picture is in Chimney Rock, North Carolina. So this was November 2023. We got married in May 2024 there. So we were doing like our wedding tasting and stuff. And of course, you know, fall and being Floridian, we don't have that. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. I want to bring my Evermore flannel. And then it was like rainy, moody. And I go to Kameron and I'm like, we need to take the Evermore picture.
Yeah,
so
here, hold on. Leave it up there, Caesar. Hang on. Leave it up there for a couple more seconds. Let me let's do the side by side real quick here.
And we actually had to take a couple different pictures because there was like porta potties that I'm blocking.
You see
so
that?
I was like, I don't want the porta potties in.
Come on, how close is that?
Take down.
That
the
is so
picture.
perfect.
Right?
So I kind of want to show everybody. Just hold it up there, Cam.
Yeah, there you go.
There's the picture, and then
there's the Evermore album.
There's the Evermore. It's like literally almost identical.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Right?
That is crazy.
Done with intention, to be fair. Yeah. Intentionally done that way.
Yeah. I was like, I'm like in the restaurant, like braiding my hair, trying to like look at it and be like, how does it look to the album?
It looks so good.
I feel like your braid looks much better than hers.
I don't think so. I had a lot of hair coming out.
I don't know. Yours looks more straight than hers. So.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion.
Yeah, she's probably like, you know, the idea is that like she's walking maybe, or she's like
right.
been on a on a journey, whereas Shauna's was much cleaner. But
It's like, is my hair perfect?
So literally, that's what I was saying. Like, is it perfect? And it started, and it was like raining on and off while we were like taking the pictures, and then there was like porta potties like on the road. So I was like, wait, let me move this way so the porta potty's out of the picture, and very intentional.
That's awesome. Cam, I want to talk to you about how you actually came in close encounter with Taylor Swift. Here's a picture of you that you took, right?
Yeah, so that was day 2 of the Speak Now tour when it was still the BB&T Center, not Amaranth Bank Arena. So I went back-to-back days when she was there for the Speak Now World Tour. I went with my best friend from high school, Lauren, the day before. We were in the 100s right next to the B stage. But the next day, my grandma had gotten me a ticket, just one ticket, and I was there on the floor by myself, and I was literally right on the aisle. So when she was walking towards the B stage the next night, I actually was able to give a high five to Taylor back in 2011. Yeah, 2011. So that was pretty crazy.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And that's way before she became like this big. I could only imagine how you would have felt now if you actually got to touch her now.
Oh, I probably would have passed out, and I would have called the 2 people that are on the podcast with us right now and be like, "You're never gonna guess what happened."
We would pass out.
Yeah. Well, what was funny is after that happened, there was girls who were like basically like right along the boards, who they were like, "Oh my God, we didn't get to touch her," and I was like, "I did." They were like, "You did? Oh my God! Oh my God!"
You know how vintage this looks? Just look at that girl's BlackBerry.
I know. I was thinking that too. I was like,
I'm not really looking at Taylor Swift. I'm like, wait a minute.
That was taken with my Nikon digital camera, by the way, that I got in like 2010, for all I know, maybe. I think, yeah.
Oh my goodness, wow! Such nostalgia right there. That's awesome. Yeah. So you went 2 days in a row.
Mm-hmm. And then I actually went another time on that same tour in Miami when it was still the AAA. So I saw her 3 times alone.
Was this the second time?
No, so that's actually day 1. That's with my best friend from high school, Lauren. So we went day 1 at a now Amaranth Bank Arena. Then I went day 2 by myself from the ticket that my grandma bought me. Then I had another friend in high school who was like, "Hey, my mom bought the tickets, but she doesn't want to go. I know you really like her. Do you want to go too?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I'll go." So I went like probably 6 months after that, again to the Speak Now tour. Then I went to the Red tour with Lauren, who's in that picture with me again when we were in college. So she came down from FGCU while I was at FIU. We saw Taylor at the AAA for Red. And then I've also saw her at the Reputation Stadium tour. And then I saw her once at the Eras tour. So I've seen Taylor 6 total times, which I believe is...
Wow.
Which I believe is probably the same as Victoria and Shauna combined.
Oh, I've only seen her twice.
I was gonna say Victoria said she's seen her twice, right?
3 times, 4 times.
4 times.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've seen her twice. Victoria's seen 4 times. So together it equals Kameron 6. And for those who were curious in the beginning, who I had a crush on that was in love with Taylor Swift was actually Kameron. But we didn't start the high school crush where I curled my hair. But we didn't start dating until 2020. But yeah, if you're like, man, she was.
But
like,
Shauna, didn't you have a crush on Cam in high school as well?
Yeah, that's what she's saying. Yeah,
okay.
I was the boy that she had the crush on, that she curled her hair for.
Right. And so the picture was all for Kameron.
Yeah.
I was a mastermind, but he just didn't get it.
Didn't get
Yeah.
Such young love. Such young love. Let's kind of go into the second segment 2. The podcast of basically Taylor Swift being in the New Heights podcast. Talk about how have we seen Taylor Swift with others and like the posts, the social media. It's been crazy this last week. I think 1.3 million views during the live stream, right? Insane. I think it topped Donald Trump's live views. I think he's got more viewings in one day, but she topped it as the live total. How crazy! And talk about the podcast a little bit and what you guys how this transpired.
Well, I mean, I don't think we've ever seen her this open with any of her relationships, to be honest, in terms of just even doing an interview with the guy. I mean, because I don't even think she ever posted a picture of Joe Alwyn on her Instagram when they were together, for starters. And like now,
I don't even think I don't remember any of her old boyfriends, honestly.
So yeah, but that's the point I'm trying to make. You know, like they're very much clearly in love with each other, and like they have no problem showing it and displaying it for the world to see, which is something that we've never really seen from her. It's a totally different side, and I genuinely feel like it's the type of person that Travis is that like has kind of brought her out of her shell like that. Because she even said it in the pod, which is like he's just a human exclamation point. He radiates positive energy.
And it's good to see that she's like being more public too. As someone as famous as her, like you can see why she wants to be hidden or not be known as like the big social media fandom or just being out there in public, right? Just with the way she has her views politically and other different things that she has. But she's slowly starting to come out and just be herself. We're slowly starting to know who Taylor Swift is. Like
she's a bread maker.
She seems to be really, really cool. And just start talking on the podcast, you could tell she's really good at it.
What did you think, Victoria?
Yeah, I think one thought that I have is, you know, after 1989, we hit a peak where like the public just felt like they were overexposed to Taylor Swift. So then other things transpires and goes into hiding for a year. But I feel like she was, I think, very open in the sense of like, what does her life look like? She's going out with all of her girlfriends. She's going to basketball games. She's over here. She's, jetting around the world, having the time of her life and still being extremely criticized for the way that she's leading her life. What does it mean that she's only with like her girl squad? So I think that must have been like, a learning for her, like, well, my brand needs to be careful about overexposure. And then all of the things that transpire after, with Reputation and all of that.
Right.
But I think now she must have, well, she's learned, but I think she must have a more stable foundation, a better support group to manage that kind of public life. And I think you're like Shauna and Cam were saying, like, I think Travis is just such an open dude that it allows her to be herself. And it's just that. And I think that that's honestly like what she needed, what she wanted.
One thing that we talk about a lot with sports, especially nowadays, and they talk about it with every sport now, is that everyone, no matter what position you play, you're under a huge microscope. And Taylor brought that up in the podcast too. Like we kind of live similar lives in our profession. I'm practicing every day for my shows, and then I do my show for 3 hours. He's practicing every single day for his game, and then he plays his game for 3 hours. Except when Taylor's done with her show, she just goes into her bathtub and, relaxes. Travis has to go in front of a microphone and answer all these questions that you probably don't even want to think about until you've had time to digest the game and, watch the film and everything. But you're just, hey, Travis, you missed this block. How do you feel about that? Or, hey, Travis, you dropped the ball here. How do you feel about that?
Or he's got to, even if they lose, he's got a whole week to think about, like, what he's got to do better to win the next week, right? So where Taylor is like, she did a show, whatever happened in that show, she's doing it for the fans and the people around her. And so is Kelce, but he's ultimately, has to think about it also throughout the week. So it's definitely a compare and contrast there, the difference of both, but kind of similar in a lot of ways, right? And they talked about it on the podcast.
Yeah, there's a lot of parallels between the two.
Yeah, and I think too, like another piece with like Taylor's mental health as well, of like thinking about, she was thrown into this at 14, 15 years old, which it's crazy to think because there's like this weird kind of normalization around like teenagers becoming famous pop stars or become famous actors. But also we forget like they're children, they're a child, they're a teenager. They don't know when they're signing a contract that they're signing away the rights to their music or their masters or what that could mean for them in 20, 30 years from now. So I think too, there's a lot of things of like she's been open about, you know, her body image and like what Victoria was saying, how the media was super scrutinizing her. And then she like hid away. And then she had this time in Lover where I personally loved Lover. I loved Me. It was one of my favorite singles, even though a lot of people don't like it. Where
but you love Brandon Urie.
I love Brandon Urie, where people started to feel like she was starting to lose her shine. She's starting to shimmer away. Like she's a has-been. She's not this new pop star anymore. And through this whole like saga with her masters and her re-recordings, it kind of like brought her career back to life. It gave her this second life and made her even stronger and more popular than she was before. And like, you know, like in her lyrics of Look What You Made Me Do. And I think between all of that happening and then Travis with his exposure, and even too, like he is super honest about how if it wasn't for Jason putting his neck out there,
he wouldn't have a career.
He wouldn't have a career. So I think they know what it's like to almost lose your careers or how things are on the line. So it makes so much more sense to be a lot more open in that comparable and side. And I know I'm going on a long tangent here, but it's just so cool to like see that happen. And also like his body language where he's like his arm like around her the whole time. And I was thinking, I'm like, honestly, arm like reaching, like I'm struggling
because he's 6'4". His wingspan is like probably like 12 feet.
I think he's got a really long wingspan. You can tell by the way he lines up on the field. No, you can tell that their love is genuine, and the way that he talks around her, the way that they act around each other, it's been a really good relationship to see off the field and off the stage. And just not me personally, not being a big, huge Taylor Swift fan, I do like her music, but I'm not like you guys, the Swifties. I do appreciate that what they're both bringing in, as far as getting people, not only girls to like football, but we're getting guys to actually like Taylor Swift as well. Mm-hmm. So it's working for both ways, right? And they're both genuine people. What do you guys? What was your favorite part of the podcast?
Wow, so many things to say.
I actually really liked the backstory of where we got to hear Taylor's perspective of the whole like
the friendship
bracelet call out. That Travis didn't even try to reach out to her team at all to meet her and was just like, we know the elevator lady, which was funny because when he first made that podcast, someone's like, think of it, like Travis owns Arrowhead Stadium, and so he thinks he can just walk in and see whoever he wants, and then Taylor says no, and Taylor's like, I didn't even know that you wanted to meet me, like you didn't even try. Which I do want to give a shout out to the elevator lady, because if she did let Travis in, that would have been such a bad situation of like security breach and all that stuff. So shout out to the elevator lady for doing her job. I hope they give her a nice big tip. Can you imagine Taylor has this huge security breach because these two football players wanted to beat her? Like they might have not been together if that actually happened. Like,
but it kind of, I don't know. I'm kind of the other way around, because, I mean, remember when Jason Kelce took the little girl and literally threw her up and said, here, Taylor, meet this little girl. She's your biggest fan. And that was literally, I think she talked about, she was
like, whose kid is that?
Right? So, I mean, who knows what would have happened? Maybe it still could have been love at first sight. You never know. But at the same time, it's like, you know, things happen for a reason at the same time. So
I also think that shows like the male mentality versus the female mentality, because like females were very big on security. Like we don't want random men coming up to us. Well, guys were like, oh, it's not a big deal. Like I can just say hi. And it's like, well, you don't know what it's like to be approached by like creepy men. Maybe Caesar might, but
What are you trying to say?
Hey, you got a lot of people approach you all the time, man.
I still haven't had any creepy men DM me, so let's keep
Oh.
let's keep it that way.
You're lucky for that.
No, but yeah, that's awesome. Cam, what was your favorite part of the podcast?
So I remember one of the teaser clips that they showed. I don't think it was actually in the podcast itself, but it's probably my favorite piece of content that came out of it was when like Taylor was like, yeah, thanks for having me. You know, I'd love to be on this podcast, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, you know, you guys have a lot of, you know, male football fans who watch your podcast. And this is exactly what male football fans want to see. More of me, which I saw that and I was dead. I was like, you know what? That tells you like that she really has a great sense of humor and really doesn't care.
And
So, like she knows that you probably
self-aware.
like whatever. This is my boyfriend's podcast. I'm here anyway. You don't want to see me. Tough. Get out. Sorry.
It's so cool that, you know, we got to see that funny side of her that I don't think a lot of fans did see that, right?
Yeah.
Most of
Well,
the
we
time,
know she's funny because she's really humorous in her songs, or super punchy. But
you don't really
the
see that
media,
when she's performing, right? You don't get to see like here in the podcast. You kind of see her body language, how she interacts with people that are watching her. On stage,
Mhm.
she's dancing, she's singing the songs and stuff. So it's a little bit different, I think. But great point there, Victoria.
But on stage, she still does make like funny face gestures that everyone sees online and like little winks. And they're like, look at that. Look how funny she is. Like,
yeah, she does have her little moments on stage where she's obviously, you know, basically performing for the fans. It's not supposed to be like, as much as she wants it to be perfect in every possible way, she also adds authenticity in moments that she knows will kind of like maybe break the fourth wall and allow the fans to have that connection with her instead of just being a polished showgirl.
Do you guys think Jason Kelsey's a new Barbara Walters?
Well, I mean, he's asking questions like he is. He seemed like a hard-hitting journalist right there. And he did bring out a lot of good answers from both Taylor and Travis. But I mean, that's probably just because they feel very comfortable with them, to be quite fair.
I feel like he asked a lot of questions that fans would want to ask, not like what is going to be clickbaity or rage bait or whatever it's going to be. Like, what are the fans talking about online? I feel like he did his research,
And maybe
or his team did. Yeah.
maybe his daughters and his wife helps him out with that, because I know she has her own podcast as well. She later went on after and talked about the Easter eggs and talked about her interaction with Taylor Swift and stuff like that. So that also helped, I'm sure, as well. Let's kind of get into this next segment on the Easter eggs for the new album. Super Bowl. There's a lot of rumors that she might be in this year's Super Bowl. What do you guys think? I know Victoria, you're kind of like know more of this, of the Easter eggs somewhat, right?
Yeah, I go down the rabbit holes, and honestly, sometimes the way people connect dots that you didn't even think about, and then people are like, "Well, she flashed a number 2 twice on the screen, and she wore green, and she wore orange," and it goes on, and you think like you're like, "Oh, these people are insane," but then these theories come to fruition. And honestly, that's part of the fun on Taylor's behalf and on the fans' behalf. Like, if you're not a super Swiftie, like she said on the show, like if you're not a super fan, you might not catch the Easter eggs, but that's what they're meant for. They're meant for like the super fans who want to do that kind of sleuthing. But yeah, as far as the Super Bowl goes, she did hint a lot at Super Bowl 60. So I guess we'll have to see. I feel like it could go either way.
Personally, I don't think that she'll do the Super Bowl until Travis is retired. To be fair to Travis, I mean, because like, what happens if he plays in the Super Bowl? Is he going to leave the locker room like what Evan McPherson did, Caesar, that one year with the Super Bowl in LA when he stayed out to watch Snoop Dogg You think Travis is just going
Oh,
to
he
sit
would.
there on the bench and be like, "Yeah, that's my girl."
He
Yeah.
would. He would. He
I know
probably
he would, but like, come on. You
Or at
can't
the
do
same
that.
time, he'd be like, "I've seen her perform so many times. Like, I know she's gonna kill it." Like,
I feel
and I
like
think I feel like they have that respect for each one another, right?
Yeah.
She does her show, and then Travis Kelce does his thing. So,
But that's why I think she'll wait until he's out of the league, probably. If she really does want to. That's just my personal opinion on it. I think that's how it should be. I don't think that she should do the Super Bowl until he's done.
or
But there's all the Easter eggs.
maybe she's not performing, but maybe she has a hand in it somehow.
Yeah.
maybe that's a good point. Anything, Shauna? Do you have any?
I want to say no. Like, even though the Sourdough Sam, the Super Bowl 60, and the last time it was at the Levi Stadium, it was 3 performers: Beyonce, Bruno Mars, and Coldplay.
Yep.
So it's like, and then 13 years ago, Beyonce did it. So there are some like additional Easter eggs. I just feel like Taylor Swift doesn't need to do the Super Bowl halftime show.
I agree on that.
Like, for her to do it, it's a want. Like, she already has so much fame. The NFL probably needs her more than she needs the NFL, to be fair. But like, it's completely on to her, like, if she wants to do it or not. Like, there isn't a need to do it. Does that make sense?
Maybe she wants to, not so much a need.
Right. That's what I was saying. Like, it has to be a complete, like, if she wants to do it, she'll do it. But if I was her and if I want to do it, I wouldn't want to do it while my significant other can't watch.
Okay.
That's fair.
That's
a
just
fair point. That's a
my
fair
personal thought.
I'll buy more into the Easter egg that I saw a couple people talk about. There's like a sphere-shaped object behind her and Travis on like the bookshelf, so people are suspecting that she's going to do a residency at the Sphere. I feel like that's more logical than her doing.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
A residency at the stadium.
At Allegiant Stadium.
In Vegas.
In Vegas, yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see both. Yeah. No, for sure. Let's see. What is 47?
Yeah,
So
47 is well.
You guys got to
She
help me out
mentioned
here.
it twice. 47 is a number that she mentioned twice in the podcast. First, she's like thanking Jason for introducing her for like 47 seconds. And then when he asked her later in the podcast, like, how many countries did you visit on the Eras tour? She's like, 47,000. And that kind of ties into like, okay, well, where does this number fit into the puzzle pieces, into the puzzle? And basically the 47th show of the Eras tour took place in Levi Stadium. So that's why that's another Easter egg that kind of ties into the Super Bowl 68 theory.
So that could be the reason. I think that's why everybody's kind of like hinting that she might do the Super Bowl or be involved in it.
Yeah, and I think there was something too, and I can't remember exactly, but I want to say she started both like the Reputation and the Eras tour in the Arizona stadium.
Yes.
And there was references like before the Eras tour launch where she was like, "Oh, we're gonna announce it at this day of this game or something." It was Arizona versus someone else. I know I'm butchering this theory, but there's a lot of things where she does use the stadiums to connect dots and leave Easter eggs. So it could work. It could make sense of her there.
Okay. Talk about her collaboration with Sabrina. What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, 2 awesome pop stars combining, and also the fact that Taylor Swift normally doesn't have features on her music. They're very like few and far apart, to be honest. That's going to be cool, especially for me, because I've seen Sabrina Carpenter before she blew up in 2017, actually. So I don't think we would have had the same notoriety of Sabrina Carpenter. To be fair, Espresso was the biggest song of last year, but I don't think you would have had it be as big as it was had she not opened for Taylor at the Eras tour, to be quite fair.
I literally, when she opened for her, I knew that she was probably going to be in somewhat collab with Taylor Swift at some point, right? It's just the way that I feel like they're really close friends, and they become really close friends. And I
Yeah.
think that's another Easter egg that I kind of like saw, even though I'm not a big fan. I when she said Sabrina Carpenter is going to be in one of her tracks, and I believe it's the last one, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's just I was like, oh well, I kind of seen that coming, so that was pretty cool. Talk about um the track. Let's talk about the album. What do you guys think of the new album that might be coming out, or that will be coming out?
Yeah. I think for me, I'm, really excited to see this almost super over the top, like overdrive of pop spectacular music that she's going to overload us with. It's literally what she's saying. It's like 12 songs for now. 12 songs that she's told us, and she says that there's no more, but there are Easter eggs hinting at a 13th track. But the 12 tracks, Sonic, like she's basically going to recreate the success of 1989, the global success of 1989, really hitting the masses, and while still being lyrically sharp, but sonically cohesive and sonically appealing to the masses. And really, like, I think she tried to make every song a hit.
Well, I will say this, as somebody who's like hardcore into the music production aspect of it, the fact that she mentioned Max Martin about 100 times in the podcast, if you're hardcore into music, you know how big of a deal that is. Max Martin is one of the top producers of pop music, literally of the last 25, 30 years. Like, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that. Bye, bye, bye. I Want It That Way. Hit Me Baby One More Time.
Yep.
I could go on honestly for 30 minutes of just everybody that Max Martin has worked with, and not only who he's worked with, the actual songs that he's produced. And you will say, I know every word. You'll be like, I know every word to all of those songs. And
right.
he has not stopped from the 90s to now. He is, in my opinion, like the top pop music producer without question. If you want a radio smash hit, you've got to go to Sweden and you've got to work with Max Martin. Without question.
Did both.
And she did both. Yeah.
She did it on tour. Which is incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. And I think Travis Kelce talked about that too. He's like you literally had no rest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you did it. And she talked about how she literally would wake up times or she didn't even want to do it, but she did it for us fans or for the people that want to, hear her music. And, I think this might be her biggest hit album in a while. Since
probably
when?
1989. Probably 1989. If we're going to talk about like in terms of the widespread appeal of it, I would say probably since 1989 for sure.
Like, I'll be honest with you guys, 1989, I don't think I actually ever listened to the album from start to finish until Taylor's version, but I knew every single song because it was just everywhere. Like, Caesar and I worked at Under Armour. They would play it constantly in the mall, and it wasn't even like the main ones like Shake It Off, Shake It Off, or Blank Space. Like, just everywhere you went, there was a 1989 song that was playing, and you just like learned it again through osmosis. So I think with this one, and I even said when she first started dating Travis, I'm like, Travis loves 1989. He loves pop music. I'm so excited for when that comes into her music because it's going to be great because we know he loves it. He's going to be like more cowbell, but more synth, more pop. Like, it's going to be in the way, but they were both hyping it up. I'm actually was watching Travis more because I'm like, Travis is so proud of this. This is going to be a banger. And if it's not, he's a really great boyfriend. But no, it definitely is going to be banger after banger. I'm like super excited for that era to come back.
I think the only reason that Travis didn't have a problem with her flying to Sweden is because he didn't know that Gustav Forsling is Swedish. If he knew that Gustav Forsling was Swedish, I don't think he would have wanted her in Sweden. Had to get a little Panther nugget in there.
Question: would you let Shauna go to Sweden by herself?
As long as Gustav Forsling's not there, heck yeah.
He's like, during the Panther season.
During the regular season.
I don't even know where I would find him in Sweden. I would have a better chance of finding Gustav Forsling here in Florida. South Florida than
I was going to say. especially because she doesn't speak Swedish.
Yeah.
No, and I would stand out because I have red hair and not blonde hair. But Victoria, what about
hilarious.
you?
What about me?
What do you think of like the whole Max Martin and Taylor Swift
Yeah,
coming
what do you
back?
think
Oh,
of this
well,
album coming out?
Yeah, I love the fact that, she's obviously referencing Max Martin and Shellback, and how she said like they've all gone into the world after working together on a couple of albums and basically sharpened their knives, and now they're ready to come back and use their full arsenal to build the ultimate pop album. So that's what I'm just like, I'm like, girl, banger after banger, like Shauna said, like I was listening to 1989 again, and like the first 10 songs, they're all radio hits.
Yeah,
right.
All of them.
No skips.
And it's crazy because last night when I went to go see Fluffy the comedian, and literally, what did they have a song when he left? In Sync, bye bye bye. So like Martin, like you guys said it like countless times, he's been incredible of just bringing out hits every single year, and for her to be able to work with him, it's going to be, I know it's going to be incredible, and especially with her being in the podcast and new people following, this is going to be huge, and I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. Do you guys think that she's going to release a single before the end of the month, which is the cutoff for the Grammys? Or do you think she's going to wait?
Nah, she might wait.
She might. Who knows? I don't know much of that music like you guys, but I mean, if it was me, I would do it. I would do it just so like a teaser album, right? Just throw it out there. It might even give her a chance. Well, she's probably gonna win a Grammy award. So
Well, how it works, Caesar, is basically with the Grammys, there's like cutoff dates. So I believe it's like the end of August. Is it for 2026? So the Grammys that happened in February. And then if you release it after August, so like let's just say September 1st, then that's Grammys 2027. So people are saying, would she try to get at least one song nominated for Grammys 2026 and then submit everything else for 2027?
But
and
I
then
feel like I feel like she's not a person that really cares for awards. She's more of like, I'm doing this for the fans rather than I'm not gonna go out there and just throw a song just because I want to win an award, right?
Yeah.
If she's gonna do it,
she has a history of really wanting that kind of validation and the notoriety that comes, especially with the Grammys being such an established like award ceremony. I know that she has like a history of whether she wins it or whether she doesn't, and what it's felt like for her through her documentaries. So I know that she's thinking not just of the fans, but she's thinking of like as if like she were like getting her master's, like she's putting a thesis together, like she's thinking like sonically cohesive, like what she's going to put in to get the best output. It's not just like, oh, the fans are going to find this funny. Like there are albums for that, like the Tortured Poets Department, where she has like almost 30 songs that, really don't make sense to a lot of people. But if you're a fan, there's so many, Easter eggs, and not just Easter eggs, but you get to see like the sadder, darker side of Taylor. You get to understand what her life has been like. So I think it's like a little bit more personal, but it's not really built for someone who doesn't know Taylor Swift. They'll listen to the song and they say, maybe it's like a good song, but I don't really get it. So I think it's both. Like, I think she does have this hunger to be the best.
Right.
But at the same time, she knows that there's times that needs to come into play, when that side of her needs to come out to play. And when she needs to be a little bit more connected to the fans in terms of like authenticity, what other avenues that she needs to bring into play with that.
And the thing is, like, she's already finished with the album. So ultimately, like, it's when is she ready to release it, right? So, and the fact that she's dating a competitor too. So that could be another thing where, Travis could be like, hey, babe, this is an opportunity for you to win another Grammy. You need to do it now. So you want to be the best of the best, you should do it. So the competitive side of Travis might have her kind of like go ahead and do it. So yeah, we just have to wait and see, I guess, right?
That's the thing with Easter eggs is like they're so much better after it happens and you look back to them. Like Easter eggs are better. It's like hindsight is 2020 because there's so many that pulls you in so many different directions. And just look at like Reputation Taylor version, debut Taylor version. Like we were Easter egging so hard for those and they haven't happened. So that's like the fun part of it is you never know when an Easter egg is actually going to happen.
And it's marketing genius. Like she's keeping her fans hungry for more.
And you would know about that, Victoria, because you work in marketing. So that's awesome. Yeah. So kind of want to end the show here. Taylor Swift went to a Florida Panther game, and I thought that was one of my favorite parts in the podcast, how they both didn't think that we would tie it. And just the atmosphere that she said, it was great and amazing. Do you guys see her becoming a Florida Panther fan?
Well, unfortunately, Scott Swift has been spotted multiple times at Tampa Bay Lightning games, so I don't know if she will. And on top of that, I don't know who Travis's favorite hockey team is. I think it's the Chicago Blackhawks because I saw his GQ interview and he grabbed the Chicago Blackhawks hat. So I don't know if she'll be a Panther fan. That's just my takeaway.
Taylor, if you're listening, we got plenty of room here. Matthew Tkachuk, he's got a nice little suite he can get you in. We got great hospitality, and I'm sure Shauna would love you to be at almost a lot of games. So, just saying.
She was wearing that Panther Cartier necklace that the
bottom,
Panthers admin actually tweeted about and was like, is this play about us? So, but honestly, though, based off this new era with like the orange and mint, I was joking with Kameron and Victoria. I was like, what if this means Travis Kelce is going to join the Dolphins?
Now we got Darren Waller. Yeah.
Which probably won't happen, but that's why I feel like Taylor being like a Panther fan, it's hard because
Travis Kelce is going to retire a Kansas City Chief. If he gets traded, he's going to be like, nope. Rather than you trading me, I'm just going to call it quits.
If he goes anywhere other than Kansas City, it's Cleveland, and that's it. And that's only again from his GQ interview. He said he would die for the city of Cleveland. So if he leaves KC, it's Cleveland or nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
What does a football player do after they retire?
Well, I mean, he's got a fallback now. He's got a podcast. I mean,
yep.
And
Jason Kelce.
Well, that too, yeah. But
I mean, he literally doesn't have to work a day in his life ever again. So, but I'm sure that he'll be, traveling with Taylor and just doing different things and things with the podcast with Jason. Jason, didn't really know what he was going to do after retirement, and for their podcast to, grow so much now with Taylor Swift being on. And not only just having Taylor Swift, but they've had several awesome guests on there. Bill Murray's been on there, just different actors and different athletes. And for anybody who loves sports, definitely go check the New Heights. Really awesome podcast, and just excited to see that platform grow as well. So thank you guys. I really appreciate you guys coming on and explaining what Taylor Swift has meant to not only the football world, the sports world, but also what Travis Kelce's meant to the music world. And is there anything else that you guys want to say before we go?
Let's rescue some baby otters. Okay, really, Travis and Taylor, open up an otter sanctuary.
Hey, if anything, Travis, you need to go contact Bill Zito. I think he's got some connections in the Keys, so you never know. Anyways, till next time, guys, like I always say, one shift at a time, one period at a time, one game at a time. Let's go.